Well, hello everybody and welcome back to Fisting Jawa Save the Universe. I am Fist-25 and we're going to take a special first look at one of the new ships for the Invictus launch week, and that is the Sabre Firebird. Well, the Firebird, the Raven Firebird, maybe. It looks like a Raven, but it's not a Raven. It's a Firebird. Anyway, it's gonna be quick. Let's roll the intro, take a look at it, take it fighting, check it out, look at the stats, all that fun stuff. Stay with me. Well, all right, folks, so here we are at the Aegis Firebird, the Raven Firebird thing. This is the ship behind me. It has the profile of a Sabre Raven, but it is more of a missile boat. No EMPs, lots of missiles. Let's go take a quick walk around it. So I do have the default paint on here, I believe, which is kind of a white mix in this paint. It does come with some other paints. With Concierge, you get the ash cloud, kind of a dark black paint. And there's some other pretty standard Aegis paints that it can come with as well, kind of a windbreak and a landslide paint, kind of that green and the tan type of paint. But as it is a symmetrical ship, it looks very, very much like a Sabre Raven. It's got some different stylings on there. I like this little hex pattern grid they got going on, but the intakes are the same. It does have, I believe, two GT220, a Mantis GT220 size 3 guns on it. Interesting choice with the ballistics, considering we're also using a lot of missiles. It's pretty low to the ground, pretty small profile. We'll have to check and see its stealth capability. Exhaust right here at the back, the large, it's kind of an Aegis thing to have this large weird tail section with exhaust back there. It'll look better when we're probably up there flying it. It's got very small landing gear. Tricycle landing gear configuration though. It's got some thrusters there on the bottom. I mean, there's not a whole lot to this ship. It does have the bespoke missile launcher. Let's see if we can open anything up. Probably refueling port in there, I'm guessing. The missiles, I believe, come out here. We'll have to come up and see what it looks like when we're in missile operator mode. I don't see anything else under the bottom besides thrusters. Really, I'm interested in how this ship handles. It's supposed to be quick. We can open our storage. So storage is over here. We'll go over how much storage it has when we actually go over the stats. So the ladder, enter pilot seat. So that's interesting that we can't access storage from this side either. A little odd, but I guess it's par for the course. Is there, can we get up here? I don't think we can necessarily get up here to access there should be components at the top. I wish the grab mechanic actually worked. I could put myself up on top of this ship. I don't think we're going to get up top here. I believe there are components on the top as well, but as I try and main to get on top, it's not going to happen. Nope. Oh well, I guess it's time to put my helmet on and we can get this road on the show. I like this ability to quickly put it on. It's very nice. Where's the menu? There we go. I kind of like the new inner thought window thing. Okay, let's hop inside of this cockpit. You've joined the channel Aegis Sabre Firebird. So I actually just picked this up at Invictus launch week. Let's fire the ship up.
Aegis combat assist activated. Systems green.
Sounds good. Let's look from the back. We can see that single exhaust there. The exhaust effects look really good. Look at the ship from the top and its stock paint. It looks like it has multiple intakes, or at least air, airflow could come in and cool components down or something like that. But the design of it is very nice, very symmetrical. It's a beautiful looking ship. Let's take a quick cockpit tour. See what we got here. We have a self-destruct button over there. Okay, we have an ejection. Enable couple flight. Open canopy. Some other buttons are lit up. Not much to them though. Spool the quantum drive is up here. Weapons off over there. Engine on. Power. Lots of lit up buttons, but they don't seem to do a whole lot. Over here, I thought we saw something over here. Just my med pen, I guess. Oh, open ladder. I'm accessing the outside of the ship from the inside of the ship. Interesting. We have 4 multifunction displays. The default ones are ship status, target. We're gonna take our comms off of there, see what's on there by default. Hopefully shields. Yes, a really good default configuration. This is exactly what I would have. There we go. It looks like we have 2,133 rounds of size 3 Gatling ammunition. Let's go ahead and open up the hangar. We're gonna spin down a little bit and watch this ship hover up. Hovers up real nice. It's not forward heavy or anything like that. We'll go ahead and bring the landing gear up. Comes in very nice. I like how it says Sabre Firebird on the bottom. It looks like that big compartment in the middle says Fire 02. That's most likely where our missile launcher is going to be. We'll go ahead and head out into space. It's already quick, I can tell you that. Handling is quick. It feels quick. And we're just in SCM mode. So let's actually see what our maximum... Okay, so in SCM this ship does 240, so a little bit more than I guess your standard ship. A lot of them do around 200 to 220. Let's see what boost gives us. So full boost, 590. That's pretty darn fast. Let's see what it looks like from the back. Oh yeah, the sound effects are fantastic. Oh yeah. Oh, and it gets better as you run out of boost. Oh, and I blacked out. Okay. And I'm back. Okay, so I blacked out from boost. That's really kind of a good sign that this thing is fast. Let's see exactly how fast the ship is. We go into flight mode. It's a pretty long transition to flight mode. Almost 2 seconds. I'm already starting to black out just from the acceleration. So it looks like 1400 is our maximum speed in flight mode. It'll be interesting to compare that to the Raven and to the other Sabres. Just how fast the ship is. Plus, also, once we get into a dogfight. So let's go find an OM marker where we have some sun. Yank the speed down a little bit. The one component it has that I don't like stock is the quantum drive. It is fast, but it's a stealth drive, which is kind of odd because I don't really know if this is a stealth ship. If we look over here to our left, we can see it has this is a stock loadout, everyone. It has a heat signature, an IR signature of 5035, cross section of 5174, and right now my EM's spooling down because I just quantumed, but I'm gonna guess somewhere in the basic 5000s for EM. But it's dropping really fast, so this ship might even be stealthy. Okay. Now let's take a look at the bottom of the ship as we're flying along. We'll go ahead and go into missile operator mode. Very nice. That's 12 missiles, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. So I have heard on Spectrum that this ship is going to get a buff and it's going to end up with 24 missiles. I don't think it has it yet. Yeah, we just have 12, but they are size 3. And that is pretty significant. That is a lot of fire. That's like 40,000 damage. And that's a lot. Just with missiles. But it does speak to the longevity of the ship. How long can we really expect the ship to go? Maybe it's 1 dogfight, maybe it's 2, maybe 2 missions before you reload. I think that's about average for any ship. So really, I guess we gotta look at time to kill. I do like the colors. I like the idea of the ship. Small, fast missile boat. Pretty interesting concept. If we look at our EM over here, it's dropped below 5,000. So we should only be picked up at around 5,100 meters if that moniker still holds true with stealth, that your highest signatures is basically what they pick you up for in meters. I'm going to come down here to the target page. We're just going to go over our systems real quick. We have 2 charger shields here. Is that a shield or is that a power plant? Bracer coolers, our missile rack, our Gatlings, shimmer shields. So those must have been power plants before. Shimmer are, well, it doesn't really matter. All shields have the same hit points in this patch. Here's the big thing: our drift quantum drive. So it's a stealth drive. It's fast, but it's not a lot of longevity. So maybe that helps. That's going to help reduce the signature, and that's a good thing. So flight-wise, we're at SCM speed 240. Let's look at a roll. That's a pretty good roll rate. That feels pretty fast. Now, granted, we are in space. The pitch rate is not phenomenal. I'd say pretty average on pitch. Yaw rate is actually really slow. We'll have to go over these on stats and compare them to other smaller ships of its size, and kind of go from there. But I think we're going to end up in some kind of a fight down here in some kind of mood or atmosphere, since we're in Microtech, and let's go see what happens. So stay tuned for that. So folks, we are currently headed to a place where we can actually do some ship bounty missions, which means I need to travel away from Microtech. And because I have the beacon quantum drive, I can't make it to another system without stopping for gas at a Lagrange point. So we are in quantum. However, at least we'll get there fairly quick. See you on the other side. All right, now that we have some gas, we are going to head out. Try to find some bounties. Stay tuned. All right, we are nearing the vicinity of our bounty. I am trying to wait for my EM to bleed off a little bit. We're about 14k out. We do have an Erkul mole here. Not sure if we want to take on a mole right now. So if my EM is sitting here at about 6,000, and I'm about 11 clicks away, he shouldn't see me. My actual target's about 9 clicks out. I can't target him yet. Just some unknowns out there. When scanning actually gets fixed, this should help. Should. There we go. Eggpan, that's what we're going after. We just should be outside of his scan range. We are within missiles. Let's see what it looks like. Missiles away. I don't think it targeted anything. What a waste. I don't like losing how the stealth kind of works. Oh well, looks like those didn't target anything either. Maybe. We're losing our missile range for our missile boat. I don't know if we're gonna get him. Looks like he's in a Reliant. Alright, I guess we're gonna have to use some guns. It is easier for me to do my rolls on the sticks instead of using mouse and keyboard.
Proximity alert.
Felt like that wasn't hitting them very much. I need to change my pips over to a lag pip. I like how the view moves and I can't see very well. Oh, where how the hitboxes are so. They kind of take away from everything. Shields seem to be holding up pretty well. Using a lot of guns though, and his shields are still up. He's super red though. And he's gone. Okay. Let's see his friends. Whoa. Is that the mole? That's the mole. I believe that's the only other target, so Let's get within some missile range here. Hopefully I don't hit an asteroid. Oh yeah, let's get the last 4 missiles out on this mole. I don't think we're gonna have enough ammo to take him down. At least those hit. A mole is definitely not going to outmaneuver a Firebird. He is very red. Some areas. Yeah, ammo low. And ammo out. And we just did not have enough to take out the mole. See you, Mr. Mole. But the mission is complete, so we will extend and escape. Alright, so we are safely landed here at Grimhex. Really took no damage on that mission. Didn't expect to. It was an easy mission. A full restock fee for all missiles and all guns, 2.2 thousand. And a little bit of hydrogen fuel. Well, hey folks, and welcome to the loadout / ship statistics overview for the Aegis Sabre Firebird. Wish they would have done a Trans Am logo. Anyway, on the screen we have Erkul.games. So we're going to take a look at some of the stuff for the ship. First off, it's the role here at Erkul says stealth fighter. We'll compare it to actual stealth fighters and see how stealthy it really is. It appears actually to be pretty stealthy in the video. About 5,100 or so was the most it had. I think that was on cross section. So that makes it pretty darn stealthy, especially because size 3 missiles have a pretty long range. Can you see your target by that time is the bigger question. For bigger targets, like something like a mole or something, yes, I was able to see it way out there. For something like a fighter, not so much. And we'll talk about that in a sec. It is a size 2 ship, obviously a combat career solo pilot made for crew size of 1, a CM speed of 240, boost speed forward 600. I don't think I got quite 600 on that. It was 5 something, I believe. Backwards boost, I didn't check that either, but it says 260 here on Erkul. Max forward speed of 1400. It is a quick ship, and it maneuvers and moves quick. A pitch yaw roll 50 pitch, which is okay. Yaw 42, roll 160. It did have good roll. Boosted, pitch 60, yaw 50, and roll 192. The standard flare and chaff and flare. The hit points for this 2,300 whole hit points in total. Does Erkul break down critical parts? Doesn't break down which ones are critical, but it looks like the nose and the body have the majority of the hit points. I didn't lose any parts, so I can't speak to its survivability per se. Doesn't have a lot of internal inventory. Of course, it is a small ship. Dimensions are very small. It's small in mass. Decent hydrogen standard quantum fuel capacity. It does go through hydrogen pretty quick. Let's talk about damage. So the guns, these Mantis GT220s, which are fun, and they do have a lot of ammo, but they go real fast. So something to think about with that. They do bypass shields. They go straight into the hull, but when you have a bigger ship, like I was trying to fight the bull at the end, I just ran out of ammo. And it took a while to actually kill that Reliant. So because it only has 2 guns and you can't really augment it with ballistics, the DPS is fairly low. I probably go with either laser cannons to let it extend, because you're probably going to go through those missiles pretty quick, or maybe laser repeaters if you want to keep the speed up, maybe even ballistic cannons or a shotgun or something like that. The missiles, it has a bespoke size 6 missile launcher, which holds 12 size 3 missiles. I believe there's a post on Spectrum that says it's actually going to get a buff. It's going to get 24 missiles, so it'll have 2 sets of those 12, which makes it a way better value of a ship. You have 24 missiles in a very small ship of that size, and it makes a little more sense because it's it's extremely missile focused, right? Even though they're size 3 guns, they're still 2 pretty small guns, and it just doesn't have a lot of life past 1, maybe 2 fights. Really 1 fight, because sometimes missiles are, well, not sometimes, all the time missiles are not reliable in Star Citizen, at least not right now. Talk about shields. It comes with shimmer grade, stealth grade C shields, which I think is good for stealth. Let's compare them to, say, military shields. All the hit points are the same. So if you're just worried about hit points, it doesn't matter what shield you have in this patch. 3.20, 3.1. The FR60, well, let's look at the shimmer. The shimmer shields have a mixture of IR of 4 and a 0.2 decay rate. So 3 power to EM of 3, 3.2 and 4. The FR66 exactly the same stats. So shields legitimately don't matter in this patch at all. For power plants, it has plenty of power. There's no need to touch power plants. They're military grade D, but they're fine. You're way below your power requirement. I'm not sure why it has 2. The coolers, there's 2 bracer coolers, military grade C. They're fine. You're not even close to using your cooling capacity. No need to upgrade on those. The quantum drive is a drift, which is a stealth grade C. It's fast, but it's very limited range. So with the stealth grade C, power to EM 75, decay rate 0.2, temperature 2.5. 75.2, 2.5. So if you upgrade to the Voyage, it's the almost exactly the same stealth statistics, just 0.02 more decay rate. So it's actually a better decay rate. And it's the fastest civilian drive, and you can get everywhere across Stanton in 1 jump, pretty much. I don't think you can go to Mech L5 to Microtech in 1 jump, but pretty much you're not going to have to stop for gas. And most of the time you're around one single planet anyway. So for a size 1 drive, I would advise to stick with the Voyage. It's a civilian grade B. You could go with the Atlas if you want, but the Voyage is a little bit faster. The Atlas spools up and down faster. It does have 3 paints. This has all the Sabre paints. It has, I believe, the Ash Cloud, the Landslide, and the Windbreak livery. And then we can look at thrusters here. Expand this, yes. So our main thruster, my face is covering this up, but they're pretty much the same here. Main thruster, really good power, 10.9 Gs. Maneuvering thrusters are at least 2 of them are 2 Gs each. And then the rest of them are 0.94 until you hit about halfway through, they're 0.67. So these ones here are probably towards the bottom. And then your retro thrusters are not that powerful. They're at like 0.16. So there we go. That's basic stat loadout. What I would consider doing here is, I hate to say it, but let's look at the missiles. The EMs do second most damage. I would probably go with IRs. If you can get the Chaos 3s, you're doing a little more damage if you can get all 12 on target. Those may be like the Vandul missiles. They are. But you can get them at Area 18, the Babbage, Orison, her L3. They're all over. Or the Viper 3s. Or the cross section. I like the Thunderbolts, but they have to lock onto a higher EM signature. So I guess it depends on what you're fighting. In general, I would either say stick with those or probably go with the IRs. The guns. Okay, the Mantis GT220, 507 sustained DPS. You could go with the Tiger Strikes, right? It's still a ballistic Gatling. It has less ammo, but it does more DPS, probably because it does higher alpha. 34 alpha compared to 19, so more damage per strike, almost double damage per strike, but with significantly less ammo, and it should fire slower. Let's see, the Mantis, it's just been a while since I need to do a weapons video. Fire rate is 1600. The Tiger Strike fire rate is 1200, so not that much slower. I'd say overall it's probably a better weapon to have because you're going to get more damage per shot, but you got to make sure those shots count. Another option you could have is, well, I wouldn't go with the Scorpion. Is that smaller? Yeah, that's a size 2. Why that's up there, I don't know. For a size 3 mount. You could go with like a ballistic cannon. Like you could go up with a mass driver that charges or something like that. But you got the Deadbolt. You got the Tarantulas are well known. They do a ton of alpha damage, 152. Fire rate is slow at 200, but they slam into the target. There's a lot of different options here. You got the Shredder, the ballistic repeater. Good alpha damage of 81. Excuse me. You could do something like a Predator, basically a shotgun. Lots of damage, low fire rate, pretty low ammo, I think. Yeah, only 100 ammo. So, but it has a ton of spread. Or you could just kind of do what I would suggest is maybe go with the laser repeater if you like the speed. And probably look at the attrition 3. So the attrition 3 does less overall DPS, but it's a laser, so it charges, right? 487 DPS on the attrition 3. 145 alpha damage compared to 19 per shot. You're still getting 70 ammo before you're recharging. So attrition 3 might be the better option. If you go with a laser cannon like the M5A, which is probably a really good bet. Fire rate is slower, 100 RPM versus 1600 RPM. But higher DPS, and it recharges, just has much less ammo before it recharges, right? 40 ammo. But the alpha damage is 506 compared to 19. Anyway, I would probably say go with the M5A as a size 3. Chaos missiles. I would just stick with the stock shields and upgrade the quantum drive there. If we throw those items into the cart, and I haven't used this in a while, I guess we need to empty our cart. Let's check our cart again. Okay. Oh, it's okay. My fault. So to upgrade the ship, you're looking at about 56,000 alpha UEC. That's because there's 12 missiles. You can buy it center mass. Let's see. Orison's like the place to be, and Orison. You can get everything at Orison here. Cousin Crows and the Crusader showroom. You can buy everything here for 56,000. So that is my recommendation. Okay, now we have moved on to SC Ship's Performance Viewer, looking at the Aegis Sabre Firebird. I really love this website. It has so much information and it's presented in a better UI. I like Erkul. Erkul's my go-to, but this thing has so much information. It's insane. Radar emissions. Okay. It gets as low as 4,200 EM. Quantum EM, which I can verify, about 10,000. It has side cross section of 5174, which is the highest, which that's what it's going to be. It could be a little different from the front. The front is very small at 646. So going head on with someone, we're really looking at the IR as the highest emission at 5,034. So it could be fairly stealthy. You can get flight performances, your fuel cost, all this kind of stuff. Weapons information, with you guys, you just can't change out your weapons and compare them. I wished this site had that. You can compare ships, but it's stock loadouts. So, yeah, cooling, distribution, power, weight, all that kind of stuff. But the real benefit for me for this site is comparing this to a different ship. So let's do a compare. First thing we're going to bring up is a Firebird. We're going to, at first, compare it to the Raven. Right? It's the stealthy MP ship. And it's the platform that the Firebird is built on. So Firebird's in the red, Raven is in the blue. So speed, exactly the same. Propulsion, pretty much the same. Little edges out in the Raven. Little more thrust here and there, but pretty much identical. Boost multiplier is the same. Rotation speeds are the same. Shields are the same. You see, you're sensing a theme here. Hull durability is the same. Total health pool. The Firebird has more. Significantly more health. 15,500 compared to the Raven at 12,500. It has more parts. Resistances and stealth modifier. So the EM, the Raven is basically built to be a better stealth ship. The modifier on the Firebird is a 20 for IR, EM, and cross section. For the Raven, it's a 40. So keep that in mind. The physical resistances are both 50 for both the ships. That's when you shoot bullets at it. It has a little resistance. The Raven is just a little bit smaller, really kind of negligible. It's probably because it has holes cut out in the wings and the Firebird doesn't, even though the shadow of the Firebird is the Raven. Interesting. The Raven's a little lighter. The cargo is the same. The internal cargo. Now let's look at actual stealth radar emissions. So, believe it or not, the Raven has a little bit more SCM emissions. EM emissions, but it has less navigational EM emissions. Not that that necessarily matters, because you're probably going to be an SCM when you're going to a fight. But so the Raven has just a smidge more. The IR, the Raven has significantly less IR, 4,100 compared to 5,000. And the cross section, the Raven has a smaller cross section as well. So it looks like in total, the Raven is going to be a stealthier ship. When you're just flying around combat wise, you're going to have your highest IR, about 4163. So you should be able to get a little bit closer in the Raven. Fuel's the same, pretty much. The Raven has a little bit more quantum fuel. Why? It's a smaller ship. I don't know why it has more quantum fuel. I'm going to ask CIG. Fuel flow, the Raven spins a little bit more maneuvering and retro, but the Firebird the main thruster. Yeah, so not worried about the rest of those charts. Let's look at the summary. You look how close of profile these things are. The The Firebird has a little bit more hit points in its vital parts, and the Raven has a little bit more forward, it's like speed. I mean, smidge, right? This is, if you look at the stealth, the Raven is just a tiny bit more stealthy, but they're so close. The profile is very, very close. Adding in cargo there, inventory, fuel economy. I mean, they're almost identical, right? When we look at our metrics, which is really how big they are, we can see, oh, we got a 30K for the, it doesn't have the Firebird profile up yet, but basically this is the Raven is the Firebird, right? But it has these cutouts right here. Other than that, it's pretty much the same. So let's add another ship in there. What do we think is, let's just add a standard Sabre. It's made to be a stealth fighter, right? So the Sabre's in green. It's not as fast overall, significantly slower. It has about the same hull durability. Well, no, I'm sorry. The Sabre itself, because it's bigger, it has much more hit points, a much larger total hit point pool, and it has the same EM IR cross-section reduction as the Sabre Raven, which is more than the Firebird. It's a little bit bigger, it weighs more. If we look at the radar emissions, the Sabre has the least amount of radar emissions. Except in IR, it is in second place, where the Raven has the least. Has more fuel. It has less flight time, but it's a bigger ship. I think that's pretty negligible. We're not flying around in hydrogen all the time. It has a higher operating cost. There. It also has 4 size 3 lasers, but not as many missiles as the Firebird. And it doesn't have EMP like the Raven does. If we look at a summary chart of everything, let's get fuel economy and cargo out of there. We can see that the Sabre edges out these other ships in backwards strafing ability, overall strafing ability, up, down, strafing, and backwards. Stealth, they're pretty much the same, especially of the Raven. Less nav speed, so it's a slower ship, especially in nav, but in SCM, it looks like it's a little bit faster. Looks like it doesn't have as much shields. Is that true? No, they have the same shields. They all have 3,000. So size 1 shields for these ships. Much better hull durability as well. We can compare it to an Eclipse. Stealth capabilities. Well, it's pretty much the same. Radar emissions. The Eclipse, less radar emissions overall. It's pretty much the same in IR, but cross-section is much less. So there we go. It's a pretty stealthy ship, but it's not as stealthy as a ship that was built for stealth. Let's look at the Ghost. Ghost has more hit points, more health. Now, if we look at the Ghost, apparently in this patch, it took a debuff on its missions, so it's much higher emissions. It says -13, so they're tweaking the balance in all these patches. So the Raven would be much stealthier than the Ghost. The Firebird would be much stealthier than the Ghost in this patch as well. If we just look at radar emissions themselves, the Ghost has a really high EM emission, 6,700. I mean, that's not really high, but it's higher than these other two. And IR emission of 6,500. So it's going to be caught quicker on EM. but it does have more hit points, significantly better hull durability. Okay. All right, folks. So, final thoughts on the Aegis Sabre Firebird. I like the Firebird. It's a very quick ship. It's a very fast ship. The flying of it feels really good. The maneuverability feels really good. Just the speed around it feels good. I don't like the stock weapons loadout. Definitely would change those Gatlings for laser repeaters so that you could fight longer. When I went up against the mole, I could have blown up the mole, but I just ran out of ballistic ammunition. I like that it has missiles, but I hope that buff actually happens, that it gets 24 missiles. That would make it a way better ship. It would make it worth the amount of money that it costs to buy it. And definitely change out the quantum drive. Other than that, it has its own little niche, right? It's kind of a stealth missile boat, very small ship. The Raven, it's not a Raven, right? It flies like a Raven, handles like a Raven, but it's not a Raven. A Raven is EMP, and it's also not great at combat per se, but it is a cool ship, and it has its role, right? It's more of a group fight support ship. You're not going to do a ton of. It's not a dedicated like a Hornet Mark II or an F8. It's not a super dedicated fighter. It has its advantages. But I think you could use the Firebird in more scenarios than you can use the Raven, just because that's those missiles, and they're good-sized missiles compared to other stealth ships. I'm working on the stealth video for this patch, but looks like the Sabre may be the go-to in this one, at least overall for like a fighter, a stealth fighter. But we will see. I hope you liked the video. Make sure to like and subscribe on it if it was worth any value to you, I guess. It is Memorial Day, so for those of you in America watching this, remember your fallen and say a silent thank you or something like that. This is the day to remember dead veterans that have passed on and remember them. It's not Veterans Day, it's Memorial Day, right? Not to be in November because I'm still kicking. Other than that, join the Discord. We got a ton of people that fly with us, and more people that want to fly all the time. A lot of Star Citizen knowledge in our Discord. We do stream every Thursday night with the B team at 7 p.m. Mountain, and JawaSparky does his kind of chill mining salvage streams on Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. Mountain Time. And other than that, I hope to see you around. I hope you liked the video, and when we actually get some lore and maybe some more experience with Firebird, we'll maybe do a deeper dive on this. And until then, I'm Fist-25 saying, remember, if the fist don't get you, lightning bolt will. Good night, Stan.